In the summer of 2020, I moved to a small place in Central Oregon that had a small patch of land where I was very eager to start growing my own pumpkins. Pumpkins are very heavy feeders, so make sure when you make the soil, make sure to add a lot of compost in it, just because they're going to need a lot of nutrients from the compost to really give them that growth that they need. Pumpkins are a very large plant. They'll take over your garden soon. It'll look like Little Shop of Horrors soon if you let them go out of hand. But honestly, adding that little bit of greenery in my little desert side yard was really nice to see. It really gave a pop of color around August and September. I had a lot of compliments from my neighbors, and it's just really nice to see these leaves grow and kind of create a little fence area that, is my own little oasis away from 2020, really. Pumpkin fruit really started taking off in September. We started getting really hot weather, and that really is good for pumpkins. And so here's my hand for a reference on how big they were getting. And I was pretty excited to see that I was actually producing something. Soon these pumpkins will be ready to harvest, and I will show you that right now. Hey guys, so I've been having a big issue with deer coming in my yard and eating all my pumpkins. And here in Central Oregon, it's getting pretty cold. Temperature at night is getting roughly, I'd say like 40 to 30 degrees. So you can see my breath right now, and it's 8 in the morning right now. So I think today is the day. I'm gonna harvest these pumpkins and let them cure. They'll be ready for, Halloween time. So when I say I have a deer problem, so there is one of my pumpkins that got nibbled on just a little bit by some deer, and the pumpkin's on the top of this trellis here. It's like literally, 4 feet off the ground, 5 feet off the ground, and it still managed to get that pumpkin. So basically I'm going to harvest any pumpkin that is completely one uniform orange color now, and we'll see if the other ones, there's some of them like these, I can't see that one, but there's one in there that's green with stripes on it. That should be an orange pumpkin. It's the same as the one on the trellis, all the ones on the trellis. It's probably just got a little bit less sun. So I'm going to clear out some of these leaves and let that one cure or ripen a little bit more before I pick it. And if it stays the same color, then I'll probably pick it before deer get a hold of it. So not only have the deer been eating the pumpkins, they've also been just tearing apart these leaves. The leaves are the, spikely, prickly kind, but the deer must love them because they keep coming back eating all of them. But, I'd rather them eat the leaves than eat the pumpkin fruit itself. But they keep coming back and just dominance on everything, so let's harvest. So I think all of the ones on the trellis are ready to go. They're all orange, and there's Maya's got a little nibbling out of that one. There's this one down over here. It's very orange. There's this one over here. Can't really see it. So I think the trellis is a really good addition, or if you're trying to grow pumpkins in a very small area, because all I have right here is this little side yard that isn't really much, land to work with. But I feel like a trellis is a really good investment if you don't have a lot of land, because more than likely they'll keep, for the most part up until last night, they'll keep pests away because they can't really get on top of it too much. So if you're gonna pumpkin farm on a small plot of land, I highly suggest you doing this, because all that are on the trellis out here are ready to go. They're a little bit smaller than I wanted them to be, but that probably comes with the strength of the vine that's holding them. So let's get started. everything I've read said to cut the vine as high as you can. I'm just using a regular little pair of scissors, which is probably not the way to go. This is a really thick stem here.
How can you tell when they're ready to cut?
Usually you can tell when they're ready by if you get like your fingernail and you poke the top, and if it resists puncture, if the rind is strong enough, that is usually a good symbol that it's ready to cure. But I'm gonna need something sharper than the scissors I got. Alright, we're back and I actually have snips now. So let's cut this guy really close to where the line deviates from the rest of the root. Alright, there you go. I mean, it's a little sad part, but the rest of it's a happy pumpkin.
Oh.
And I'm gonna try to let them cure out in the yard for a little bit, so I'm probably just gonna put it on concrete. You think this is a mix between a jack-o'-lantern and a Big Macs, because it doesn't look like either of the two, you know? It's the jack-o'-lanterns, you know, start off more green. The Big Macs are a little bit more yellow when they start off. But this one here was at a weird orange shade. I'm not sure if I got too much shade or something, but it's really cool. It's really wide. Little hat.
What are you gonna do with all your pumpkins?
I'm gonna let them cure and give them out to neighbors. You know, they can use them for, you know, the pumpkin pulp for making pumpkin pies and pumpkin bread. And then they can use the shell and other stuff for, you know, jack-o'-lanterns. And then,
so you want it to be like a free community pumpkin patch?
Yeah, it's kind of what I want to do, but I definitely wish I had more land to actually work with. But we'll see. Your little friendly neighborhood pumpkin patch. So we actually got this one that's hidden over here. I really don't know how I'm gonna. This one needs to come out at some point. This one's like a good one too. It's protected and it's well shaped.
Green.
And it's still a little green.
Can you go like, yeah, there you go. What are you doing?
So when you thump on it, it should sound a little hollow. That gives a good indication, because Big Maxes and jack-o'-lanterns, especially those two, are a species of pumpkins that don't, or I guess a variety of pumpkin that don't really grow a lot of meat inside of them. They're more hollow. which makes them really good for jack-o'-lanterns, but not really good for, you know, like food making. So. Oh, jeez. Oh, she really flat on one side.
Yeah. How do you prevent them from getting flat on one side?
Usually the best remedy for that is to flip them when they're little, or at least when they're, you don't want to do it when they're too little, or they'll usually, the plant will abort the fruit if they're too small and you handle them. But once they get to a good size, once you can kind of really handle them in two hands, you want to get them on the bottom. You want to basically just kind of stand them up if you can without pulling them off the vine, but also trying to like shake them up too much, because if you do, then I've had a lot of experience with a lot of small baby pumpkins that have been handling too much, and basically if you shift it around, it's not going to want to grow, and it basically shrivels up and it dies. That could be because of bad fertilization with the pollen and the bees, probably didn't get enough pollen, but also could be an issue of mishandling, which just, you know, kind of fixing them is enough to cause them to abort. But yeah, oh my god. Oh, there's a big old pumpkin here. Pumpkin haul so far.
Very nice.
So we're gonna let them sit out here for about a week. We'll probably bring them inside during the night so the deer don't eat them. We'll let them sit out here for a week, or can bring them back and forth.
What's the point of having them sit outside?
It's to cure them, so basically it makes their rind harder, and then it also basically creates like a seal, so pumpkins are like basically everlasting food. You can eat everything of this pumpkin, and they can also store for even longer than a year. So if you cure them right, if you leave them out for a week or two in the sun, let them harden, you can be eating pumpkin all year if you want. But it really depends on also your hull too. I think next year I'm gonna try and grow different varieties. It's Big Macs, so these 3 here are Big Maxes, the rest of them are jack-o'-lanterns. I think I'm gonna try and do a different variety, you know, mixing in with like pumpkins specifically for eating, and more pumpkins that look kind of different varieties. You might go with the Cinderella pumpkin, might even go for a warty pumpkin, who knows. But we still got a few more on the vine that we're gonna let sit a little bit longer, and hopefully just protect them from getting eaten by the deer. But I'm pretty happy with the haul so far.
Nice. Ready to end? Say bye.